This video is brought to you by my patrons, my thoughts and opinions, feminism, the LGBTQ+ community, and conservative talking points. Hi, and welcome to, or back to, my channel where I talk about whatever catches my attention. I'm Kit, and on June 5th, 2025, Brett Cooper published Pride Month is Dead and Blake Lively Admits Defeat with a thumbnail Pride Month flop. And I have to say, Brett's new chapter is remarkably similar to her old one. Besides the background change, the only thing that seems different is that Brett, thankfully, doesn't insert random clips into her videos. And she seems to talk about celebrities more. As you probably guessed, we're not here to talk about Blake Lively, who Brett really seems to dislike for some reason, but instead to talk about pride and, randomly, feminism. Can I help you, BB? Do you want attention? I really thought Brett was better than this, but I was wrong.
Pride Month in 2024 seems to have lost its gusto. People are tired, or they're just straight up scared. They do not want to be involved anymore. Because guys, we are officially in June. I'm recording this on June 3rd. You would normally be seeing rainbow flags galore up the wazoo. And yet this year, something has changed. And the first hint of this happened in none other than Boise, Idaho, where they had to cancel their June Pride kickoff party because nobody was registering to attend. Boise Pride cancels June kickoff event due to low attendance despite strong online support. And my favorite is the graphic that they posted. So Boise Pride's biggest pride party of the year, the kickoff event canceled. The biggest party of the year, and you couldn't get enough people to show up. Yeah, well, it's Idaho. You've lost them. Granted, Boise is an incredibly gay and liberal city within Idaho. I lived there for a very short time, but still, it's not happening. People are not having it in 2025. And I am happy to inform you guys that it did not stop in Boise.
Yes, let's get that nice white fur all over my dark shirt. Yes, that's what we're doing here. So this is bizarre to me on many levels. For one, it's Idaho. Brett can say Boise is incredibly gay-friendly. I've been there myself, but I can't confirm or deny if that's true, but it's still in Idaho, a very conservative state with a lot of Christian nationalists, and a history of violent racism, which doesn't scream welcome to me. And I can understand why, in that state, people would be afraid of attending Pride, especially considering that, just a few short years ago, a plan was discovered to cause a riot near a Pride event in Coeur d'Alene. And it's not as though we've gotten better since then. Per the FBI's 2023 crime report, violent crime has decreased, but hate crimes have increased. So can you wonder if people no longer feel safe to attend Pride events? That doesn't mean they're less gay, less trans, whatever she's thinking. It just means they don't feel safe. And I would love for Brett to explain why she thinks that's a good thing.
Because June 1st came around this weekend. That is the official holiday for companies to change their logos to rainbow flags to prove that they're all allies. And it was notably less pervasive than in previous years, enough so that it started pissing people off. They were posting photos of people not changing their logos, of all these companies being like, how could you? In 2021, you were doing all of this. In 2025, there's nothing. And guys, it's not just the logos. On a whole, these big corporations, they are massively scaling back their support for Pride, and I mean, who could have guessed? I guess years of supporting naked dancing in the street and sexual deviancy and transing the kids and alienating half the country was not a great business strategy after all. It seems like years have gone by and they finally learned their damn lesson.
The kids aren't being transed, and this is just companies doing what companies do. They don't care about people, they care about profit. In 2021, we thought we were entering a more progressive era, and so companies did what they thought would win and keep customers. And now in 2025, the winds have changed, so companies have withdrawn their support to protect themselves. Shocking. But honestly, I don't think corporations have a place at Pride. And I do appreciate when they show themselves like this, so I know where to not spend my money.
Now, ironically, the organization that has done the most for Pride this year thus far has been the NFL, which is just, oh my God, it's so embarrassing, but it's also so classic. They have been blasting out the logos and the rainbow posts, announcing events. The official NFL account has been slamming retweet on every single one of those posts. But guys, who's really surprised here? Because this is the same organization that released this advertisement back in 2021. Like, on the scale of social justice, left-wing, insane videos, this might take the cake. If you haven't seen it, take a watch. Football is gay. There's the logo. I mean, that just perfectly encapsulates everything on the left.
I mean, I think it's embarrassing to be talking about a commercial from 3 years ago, but what was so crazy about it? For my listeners, it was some white text on a black background that said football is gay, lesbian, beautiful, queer, life, exciting, culture, transgender, heart, power, tough, bisexual, strong, freedom, American, accepting, everything for everyone. And that perfectly encapsulates everything on the left. There's nothing bad on that list. So, though I don't think Brett meant it as a compliment, thanks.
I mean, I talk about this all the time with feminism, where I feel like feminism has been diluted and manipulated to basically mean nothing anymore. It can mean everything. It is malleable for whatever social justice cause is the current thing that all the women want to attach it to. And that's kind of what they're doing with football. Football is everything. And it's for everyone. It's just, it can be whatever. It's lesbian, it's gay, it's queer, it's whatever.
Well, feminism is a movement and football is a sport, but yes, very similar. Anyway, that is what capitalism does. It takes whatever it can get its grubby hands on and contorts it into something passive, a slogan you can feel good about wearing, something non-threatening, both to profit from it and also to keep the capitalism machine running. Okay, well, this is adorable. Right. If you think a shirt that says "the future is female, purchased from Amazon" is all you need to be a feminist, well, you're not really a threat. If your idea of change is replacing a male CEO with a female CEO, also not a threat. I also suspect that's why folks like Brett pretend pop feminism, choice feminism, capitalist feminism, whatever you want to call it, is the only feminism. And then, when they need to be seen as threatening instead of silly, they throw some Marxism in there to create their feminist boogeyman. But I digress. Pop feminism is definitely the easiest to critique and the most visible, because it's the most marketable. But just a quick Google search would show Brett that there's so much more. Though I suspect she knows that. It sounded kind of like she was talking about intersectionality when she mentioned feminism can mean everything, which is a critique I've heard of intersectionality. It takes on too much. But alas, the human experience isn't simple, and thus neither is feminism.
Maybe football is just football. Football doesn't have to be everything for everyone. Like, it's just guys catching balls and slamming into each other, and that doesn't have to be gay. It doesn't have to be. You don't need to say that it is.
Has it occurred to Brett that they want to get more people interested in the sport because that is how they get more money? Maybe they're totally sincere, but they definitely wouldn't have done that ad if there was no potential financial reward.
And again, that video came out in 2021, so the fact that 4 years later, nothing has been done even close to, like, yes, they are slamming retweet on all of those, rainbow flag logos, but they didn't do a video like this, so obviously that is a positive sign.
A positive sign of what? Regression?
Just like it's incredibly positive that Target has completely redirected and changed their tune. Now, if you guys remember, a few years ago, Target made major waves online with their insane, truly insane Pride collection that included tucking underwear and tucking swimsuits for children. That all came out from a viral video from TPUSA. It created a huge 2-year boycott that massively impacted the company.
Brett is so dishonest, it's almost painful. No, Target didn't have tucking underwear and swimsuits for kids. Those were only available in adult sizes, and moving them to the kids section so you can fake outrage in a video is... How desperate can you be? Brett and Co's audience are so anxious for something to be angry about that they believe whatever line is fed to them.
And last year, after facing a year of half the country not wanting to shop at their stores, they announced in 2024 that they were scaling back. This headline reads, "Target is dialing back on Pride merchandise after right-wing backlash." And so guys, I am happy to inform you that this year, in 2025, they have gone even a step further. And instead of having the Pride collection just dialed back, but still, front and center, they replaced it with this. This person posted this on X this week. It is Pride Month, and this is the largest, most prominent display at Target. America is healing. And guess what it is? It is the Memorial Day and 4th of July collection. That is at the front of Targets around the country. And yes, before you ask, it is in fact royally pissing off white liberal women. Just take a watch.
I love how Brett's example of all those angry white liberal women is a random video from a meme account. Wow. What I really find interesting is the idea that kicking out Pride merch and bringing in American flag stuff is a sign that America is healing. Healing from what? Too much freedom? Too much feeling safe in our own country? Yeah, we definitely wouldn't want too much of that.
Happy Pride Month. In my Target that used to have the Pride section, it's now all USA. Yay. It's an American summer. Except for tourism, because tourism's down because no one wants to come here. USA, woo! And honestly, my dad serves in the military, and I'd love to be really proud of this nation, but it's hard to be proud of it under Donald Trump.
Of course. Yeah, it all goes back to Trump, the big bad orange man. You can't be happy. You can't live your life fully under Donald Trump. Thank you very much. It's always them. It's the white women and the boomers. We've looked at the demographics. We know the voting records. That is who is running the show. You can count on them to hold up the Democratic Party for as long as possible because based on what we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks, the young men are not coming to save them.
It's so weird she says this because because white women helped put Trump in office in 2016 and 2024, and, quote, over the last 72 years, a plurality of white women have voted for the Democratic candidate only twice, in 1964 and 1996, end quote. So, no, white women aren't the beacons of liberalism, and definitely not of leftism Brett believes them to be.
And actress Jennifer Gardner is a perfect example of this, because as everyone else is toning down their Pride celebrations this year, don't worry. Do not worry, she is out to save everyone. This is just such a brave, incredible thing that she is doing.
Jennifer Garner rainbow wrapped her trees. Did she call it brave and incredible? Because it seems to me that Brett, and to be fair, other conservative commentators, like to take something someone is doing and then, that's real. Thank you. And then inflating the importance and or meaning of it so others have something to be fearful of or to mock. Because honestly, who cares? Who cares if an actor puts rainbow items on their trees? How does it affect anyone else? Especially people who aren't even going to see the trees.
I mean, all in all, guys, and I think you know this about me, like, I really don't care who you sleep with or what you do in your private time, but like, enough was enough. We had to reach a breaking point. Like, the pendulum needed to shift because it stopped being about gay marriage and gay rights years ago.
Brett doesn't seem to realize that the pendulum swinging doesn't mean she'll hear less about LGBTQ plus rights. Losing rights, having rights threatened, that actually has the opposite effect. And I just checked. We are having yet another record-breaking year of attempts to pass anti-LGBTQ legislation. We are breaking all the wrong records.
Just like feminism stopped being about equality years ago and instead started to become about hating men and wanting to dominate men.
No, feminism isn't about hating or dominating men. She has such a lazy way of thinking.
And in turn, Pride and the entire month of June basically just became a celebration of deviancy and intersectional politics that I want nothing to do with, that half the country wants nothing to do with. And unsurprisingly, shoving all of that down our throats for years was far from a winning strategy.
Ah, yes, existing in public. How dare you shove things in people's faces? This is so stupid. No one is obligated to buy Pride merch or go to Pride events. If you don't want to, simply don't. Easy as. So, final thoughts. I wanted to comment on this because Brett's attitude is just so smug. For what reason? Does she think it's a good thing that gay and trans people are facing more violence? I would hope not, but she was almost giddy when she talked about people being straight up scared. And you know, Pride was never about corporations. Honestly, when I went to my first Pride in Seattle, I was so weirded out to see corporate logos walking by. It was like they were trying to show how inclusive they were. But how many of those same companies were also donating to groups and politicians that were trying to roll back rights? I much prefer it when they're honest, and corporations not being into Pride doesn't actually mean anything. That is the main thing I want to say in this video, actually. Pride started from a riot. If companies don't want to participate, that doesn't mean Pride is bad or failing. Honestly, in my opinion, that's how it should be. It should just be people. And yeah, the money is nice, but as we've seen, you can't trust it. And companies have no morals. They go with whatever will make them the most money. I want to end this video with a plea for everyone to be mindful of where they spend their money. If you already do that, that's great. If not, now might be a good time to start. No, we can't shop our way out of fascism, but in the US, money talks, and sometimes, most of the time really, it's louder than our voices. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.